So there exists among us some of the most creative, intelligent, and gifted individuals on the planet that will perish on their deathbed with regret, being remembered for next to nothing. These mad scientist archetypes spend their lives inventing, creating, perfecting some of the grandest ideas on this planet. Almost every day they come up with an idea that could revolutionize their industry, if not the world at large. But these mad scientists, like all of us, suffer from their greatest gift. And for them, the gift is that when they're passionate about something, they are laser focused on that thing. It's their gift because, like a laser, they can channel more energy into a project in a couple of days than most people could in years. However, it is also their curse, because the moment that they lose passion in a project, which is ironically usually the moment in which they see that it can succeed, they'll just drop the project, put it on the shelf, it'll collect dust with all the other ideas, and it'll be a concept screaming with potential that'll never get the spotlight that it actually deserves. These projects look like your notes folder that has all of the content ideas that you never actually published. The offerings that you semi-built but never actually released. The offerings that you did release with some success, but you never took them to the moon. The systems you implemented and then abandoned, and the countless messages, handshakes, locations you were supposed to go to, dates you were supposed to take your partner on, and the experiences you were supposed to have and you intended on, but you never followed through on. This is the result of the mad scientist shelving his projects. So the cycle just repeats itself. Boundless passion, earth-shaking, ridiculously powerful ideas, some level of action, a level of disinterest, and then abandonment. And then it repeats and repeats and repeats. Passion, earth-shaking ideas, some action, disinterest, abandonment. Again and again and again. Until you're lying on your deathbed and everybody has a sentence written on their face that no one needs to speak. Oh, the man or the woman this person could have become. For me, that's my greatest fucking nightmare. And this is a reality that I have had to check myself on many times. This is something I've struggled with throughout my whole journey, is this cycle that I showed you before, this endless passion, this enthusiasm, this excellence, and then right at the point where I know that it's going to absolutely soar, there had been a desire to now move on, a disinterest, and then ultimately an abandonment. But a long time ago, I decided that deathbed was not going to be my reality. And thankfully, that moment hasn't arrived yet. And thankfully, that moment doesn't have to arrive for you either. Because the truth is that the mad scientist archetype is best utilized serving multiple projects in his lifetime. They are of most service when they are lasering, shifting, and lasering again. Just think of Elon. The mad scientists aren't born to do just one thing. So what the fuck do you do then to ensure that you are honoring your gift, but also to ensure that you don't end up on that grim deathbed? What you do is you start understanding a concept that I call orbiting. So at the start of projects, you're building and launching rockets. It's what you do best. It is thrilling, it is exciting, it is dangerous, it is new, it is everything that we love. It's building this new rocket and launching it and hoping that it goes okay. But the problem is that you're in the habit of abandoning your rocket the moment before it actually enters orbit. And the funny thing is that if you stuck it out that tiny bit longer, your rocket would enter out of space. It would enter orbit, which is the moment where it actually requires the least amount of fuel, the least amount of energy, the least amount of monitoring. It's done. It is in its orbit, and all it needs now is tweaking. But your problem is that you're killing your rocket before it gets to orbit. You're ditching the piece of content before you hand it over to a publisher. You stop nourishing those relationships before they have a level of autonomy and self-nourishment. You spend your cash before it enters orbit and starts working for you. You stop training before your body develops muscle memory and conditioning and starts to have its own level of autonomy. And here's why you do this. You do this because those final moments before your rocket enters orbit are mundane. They're repetitive. They're boring. They're very predictable. They're the same thing over and over and over again. But here's the thing, if you develop the discipline, and that really is the key word here, if you develop the discipline to stick it out through that last 20%, where you can then hand your projects off, or you can then have them run automatically, or your systems can now actually have the momentum that they need. If you stick out that final 20%, these remarkable fucking gifts that you have developed, these projects, these innovations that are going to be your legacy, these will actually start to grow and flourish, and you will get to do the thing that you actually love doing the most. One project will be in orbit and it'll be being handled ideally by somebody else, and then you'll get to start building and launching another rocket. A new cycle will be born for you. Endless passion, epic ideas, extreme levels of action, a little bit of grind and a little bit of follow through, orbit, huge success, and a desire for new ideas. And then the cycle repeats itself. Passion, ideas, action, grind, orbit, success, desire for new ideas. And you repeat this again and again and again, leaving nothing on the shelf and leaving you on your deathbed with something to show for. Leaving you on your deathbed with an expression of all the greatness that actually exists within you. Send those fuckers to orbit.